people think that in the future, due to higher expected inflation, the purchasing power of money will decrease. They try to sell that currency today to get into a currency that will have more stable purchasing power. This decreased demand for the currency causes that currency to immediately weaken or depreciate. A weighted average of the prices of the goods and services consumed by people is known as the price level. The price index is the ratio of the price level to the price level of a certain base year at one point in time, with the ratio usually multiplied by 100. Therefore, if the price level is 30% higher in a given year than the price level in the base year, the price index would be 130. Price levels give you information about a currency's purchasing power. Price indexes give you data on the rate of inflation between 2 points in time.
The main criteria to satisfy purchasing power parity is that the internal purchasing power of a currency equals its external purchasing power. The internal purchasing power is calculated by taking the reciprocal of the price level, and the external purchasing power is calculated by first exchanging the domestic money into the foreign money in the foreign exchange market, and then calculating the purchasing power of that amount of foreign currency in the foreign country. Hence, the prediction of absolute purchasing power parity for the exchange rate of domestic currency per unit of foreign currency is found by equating the internal purchasing power of the domestic currency to the external purchasing power of the domestic currency. S raised to the power purchasing power parity signifies the exchange rate of domestic currency per unit of foreign currency that satisfy the purchasing power parity relation.
To begin with, absolute purchasing power parity holds that exchange rates are in equilibrium when the value of a national basket of goods and services are the same between two countries. The purchasing power parity theory predicts that market forces will cause the exchange rate to adjust when the prices of a national baskets are not equal. When a depreciation of a currency is needed to balance trade, the currency is overvalued. When an appreciation of the currency is needed to balance trade, the currency is undervalued. And both the term refers to the relationship of the exchange rate to the purchasing power parity theory. If the actual exchange rate of the euros per pound is less than the purchasing power parity prediction, the euro is overvalued and the pound is undervalued. This is the correct answer because if the actual exchange rate were to move to the purchasing power parity prediction, the euro would have to weaken and the pound would correspondingly have to strengthen on the foreign exchange market. The weakening of the euro would correct its overvaluation and strengthening of the pound would correct its undervaluation.
The real effective exchange rate is the weighted average of a country's currency in relation to an index of other major currencies. The weights are determined by comparing the relative trade balance of a country's currency against each country within the index. The real exchange rate is defined to be the nominal exchange rate multiplied by the ratio of the price levels. The real exchange rate would be 1 if absolute purchasing power parity is held, because the nominal exchange rate would be equal to the ratio of the two price levels. Similarly, if absolute purchasing power parity is violated, the real exchange rate is not equal to 1. Thus, fluctuations in the deviations from absolute purchasing power parity are fluctuations in the real exchange rate.